Okay, so we just played Blackout Hong Kong for the first time, and I gotta say, I was so excited about this. It's just unreal how good this game is. I've got it set up here for a two-player game. Now, Blackout Hong Kong was published in 2018. It says it plays from 75 to 150 minutes, and I'm trying to remember, did it take that long for us to play? And honestly, I think that's a good indication of a good game if it played long and it didn't feel like it. So I didn't time my game. I'm not sure how long it took us the first time to play it, but I was definitely very impressed with it. Yeah, so let's have a look here. So like I said, I've got it set up here for a two-player game. So we got the white players and the orange players. This is kind of how it's set up. Everybody gets one of the emergency plan card. See if I can get you to show this a bit better, maybe. There you go. So you each get one of these, and these will be different things that you can try to accomplish. Everybody gets a different one to start. You have a couple of starter cards that's going to start here as well in your objective area here. You have a few cards that starts off in the hospital. You have a few that are into your play area. I'm not sure what that's called there. I don't remember. And it's kind of start, every player is the same. You have 4 coins to start. You have, I believe it's 5 trucks that you have access to start as well. And then we have 1 on the board, and I didn't put that, and then this actually would be in the 0 position, but I'll put them there because that's really far and I won't be able to reach. Oh, and look, I'm getting my face in here. Now everybody starts with a cube on the table, so orange is over here. They've set up on this, you can set up anywhere that you want. We've set up on a D just because of their emergency plan. If they build a route D to D, they get to accomplish that. I set the white one on the C for the same reason, so that's on there. We do start with, in the middle, resources, which is a battery resource, and that one was going to be wild. So first thing I'm super impressed with this game is just how great everything is indicated on the board. You can find the information of anything you need on the board. This is the first player marker, just a purple, it's not even a disc, it's really tall, so a purple piece. And as the first player, you're going to move it up and accomplish each of these phase of the game until it gets passed on to the next player, and then they're going. So it's really easy to follow along. So that's great. So let's just do a couple rounds, and then I'll explain as we go. So first, it's roll the resource dice and plan cards. So you have 3 dice here. You're going to roll them. If any of them have the same symbol, you'd have to roll those again. You want to end up so that you have 3 different symbols. So we have, I don't know, the tools, and this one here is the water, and we have the books. So those are the 3 resources that are going to be available at the start of this game. You would look at your cards, and these are the starter cards that you have. So if you play one of the blue cards and you'd be putting it face down to activate on your turn, then that means you would get, in this case, 1 cube of the blue resource, which would be the book. This one here would give you a red resource and a yellow resource, so depending on what was rolled that round, it's going to change up every time. So these are the different things that we can do. Now you would look ahead at what you got going on, because you're trying to kind of complete these cards so that they can come in your hand. Now this one, if you look at this card, it needs a book and a water, and we do have a book and a water in the resource this round, so it would make sense to do that. So the book is blue, so we put a blue card down, and the water is yellow, so let's play a yellow card down. And then we have also these purple cards. These purple cards are kind of workers or helpers or volunteers or whatever they're called. So the story behind Blackout Hong Kong is the power went out and nobody thought anything about it at first, but when the power didn't come back on and the whole Hong Kong is out, kind of chaos is starting to set in, and you're trying to get some resources and help people and throughout the city. So that's what we're trying to do. So we also have these different things that can do different things. Now, we all start with a few workers in the hospitals. And in the hospital, they don't come back unless you're able to play your doctor. And the doctor is going to require one like first aid kit. And I know they call it something different in this game. But right now, that's not a resource that's going to happen. So maybe we don't worry about this yet. And then where you place your worker matters as well. Because when you're down to 0 to 4 cards at the end here, you will draw back up from here from the longest row of cards that you have. So it makes sense to play the doctor so that you can bring the doctor back. Because this is the only way that we can bring back the people from the hospital. And one of the cards we have from the hospital will provide us with 2 cubes, so that would be a good one to get. Okay, so thinking about that now, so I don't think I really want to worry too much because I'm going to get 2 resources and I'm going to spend them right away. So I'm not going to be able to activate one of these volunteers, so let's just put another resource card down. So that's what I'm going to do on my turn. So then that goes there. Now notice this space here is locked up. So until we do this action here, we are down to 3 actions that we can activate, right? Once you're able to unlock this, then you would have access to more. Okay, so that's what this player is going to do. This one's going to do the same thing. Now for them, they would need water and a tool, which is also available, so we'll concentrate on doing that for them. So the water is yellow, so we'll give them a yellow. And then the tool is a red, so we'll give them a red. Do we have anything else we want to try to accomplish? Maybe we want to set up for, well, the doctor is not in a position to help just yet. The scout could. The scout wouldn't be bad, and I would need a book, which I have a blue card here, so we could set that one up so we have a book available later. Okay, so that was this round. Then you deploy volunteers and specialists. So you would flip this over. So the ones that give you resource are volunteers, and the purple ones are specialists. That's, like I said, all the information you need is on the board. So this one gives you a blue cube. So you would take one of your cube and put it as to where the blue is. So then that gives us access to a book. And you know it's ours because it's the purple one. And then the next one is a yellow. So we're going to go and put one on the yellow resource. And then the last one is we're getting a red resource. So we'll put that over here. So now the white player is going to do the same thing. We're getting a yellow, and we are also getting a red, and we are getting a blue. So basically we did the same thing here. Okay, all good. So then that's what this one was. So then you would move on to the next one, and now we're in the objective. And these are the different objectives we can do. So if we ever, on our emergency plan, complete some of these, we could put a cube to show that this one and this one or this one has been activated. There's 3 different things that we can do on this card. Also, but after you've complete one, you could choose to stop there and activate the card so that you get your benefit and the extra action that you can do. So that's something that is an option, but we'll see how that goes. Now, we acquired here the book and the water so that we could do this action. So we're going to spend these 2 resources, so 1 book and 1 water for the orange cube, so then that comes back in here. And what that does is it allows us to put this card into our hands. So now we're going to be able to activate the 2 yellow resource. And we can also put a cube on the map on the yellow square. So then we have our cube. And you got to build from where you already are. So I'm over here looking around. This is the only yellow square that I have access to right now. So I'm trying to build from D to D if possible. That doesn't really help unless I go all the way around, which maybe I will. So I'll just go ahead and put that there. This card goes into my hand. Now, for the white player, we were working on doing the yellow card. So we spent 1 water and 1 tool. So this goes back into our reserve here. And this also allows us to get this card to go into our hand. And we also are building a yellow square. And luckily I have 1 available, so I'm all good. If I didn't have one available, I can spend a card to go one space further, and just trying to spread out a little bit more. So this goes in my hand. That ends this area. So now we can scout. So with the scouting, where we've built and where we have access to, we have these tiles here that we have access to. So if I look into this one here, these are the different actions that we can do. This one requires 9 scouting, 6 and 6. Now your cards are going to have access, are going to have this symbol on it. Now the doctor does not. The doctor never scouts, because you randomly discard a scout and it goes into the hospital. Somebody gets hurt when you're scouting. So the doctor never scouts, but each card will have a scouting symbol on it. Now some of them will have a scouting of 2 or more. So right now I have a scouting of 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't quite activate any of these things, so I'm not going to scout yet at this point. Now if I did and I scouted, I would get to do get the benefit of it here. So this one gives me a 2. Now if I had scouted this one first, and this is a gray one, and I scouted another gray one, this gray one would kind of go on its backside, and this gives me an extra scouting ability every round as well. So these are good to collect, but at this point it's just too early. I'm not ready to do that. So that's what the scouting does. Now if you ever, well, I'll get to that when we get there. Like I said, this is so well detailed on the board as to what you need to do. So next one we go to is the new objective. So now we can purchase new cards to add to our, now it would go in here into the objective. So I've kind of freed up this space. So I've got space for 2 more. I couldn't buy more than 2. Now the cost of the card is, and it says right there, so if it's a row of 3, the cost is $4. If there's 2 cards in the row, it would cost $3 for that card. If there's only 1 card left in the row, and these are over here that you would want to purchase, that would cost you $2. Now whenever one of these rows is emptied out, you automatically put 3 cards in. This is also what will trigger the end of the game, by the way. So as you're purchasing these cards, if you ever get to the point where you cannot fill the row that's been purchased up, it triggers a final round. So you would complete that round, then you would go one final time. So that's the deck that the one over here. So that's the deck that would trigger the end. Now this one is the extra cards. So when you go into the final rounds, you would still have cards you have access to, but you would just do one final round and then that'd be the end of the game. So new objectives. Yeah, so do we want to buy anything? So there's 2 type of cards that have in here. So you'll have your volunteer cards, or you'll have kind of gold cards. Now this one here is interesting because you've got this one that you can activate, and that would give you 1 victory point. Then if you activate the second one, it would give you another victory point. If you complete both of them, it would give you the bonus of 4 victory point. Once you complete the card or one of the action and decide to call it quits, you get to do this bottom action here. So this top ability here, this card would get slide underneath your thing, and then this top ability would now be available to you. And this one is when you activate this ability, you would get 1 tool. But then when you complete the card, you also get to put a cube onto the map anywhere you want. So that's pretty neat as well. So these cards are going to be $4 right now, all of them. And you know what? That's all the money I've got. But I've noticed one over there that I think is really attractive, so I'm going to spend the full $4 and I will purchase this card. Now this card requires a lot of resources. It requires 3 waters and 2 medical kits in order to be able to complete it. But then it would give me 3 yellow resources when I activate this. And also this card is worth 5 points at the end of the game if I'm able to complete it. So I will put that into my objective card. So I don't get it yet. It's not in my hand. I'd have to complete the objective first. Now for this other one, so notice these 2 left here now. There's only 2 cards, so that means the price of those top cards now are $3 instead of 4, so it becomes a little bit more affordable. So I'll go ahead and spend $3, and I'm going to take, You know what? I'll go ahead and take this one. Do I want to take this one? Because this one, at first I was like, oh, look, it's so easy. I need to have a yellow card and a red card in the same line in order to complete this. But I also need to spend $7. And now I'm down to 1. So maybe I won't take that one. I'll concentrate on getting resources right now. So I will acquire my red volunteer, and then that will go into my objective. Now we go into the cleanup phase. So automatically, the last card of the row, those are removed from the game, and it goes into the discard pile, and then new ones are not added except for that top row, because that top row is down to 0, so it automatically gets another 3 cards. So I'll reach over. Sorry, I'm kind of blocking the whole thing here right now. So I'll reach over, and then we'll put the next 3 cards. So those are the new cards that are now available into this game. This is a massive game. Like, it takes a lot of table space. You kind of have to reach, but it's so good. I'm really impressed. Okay, so that was the cleanup phase. Now, if we had any water left, and we don't, yellow or white has a book and a battery, and orange has a tool and a battery. But if you had any water left, and it tells you right here, you would get $1 for that. So you don't get to keep the water from round to round, but you get money for it, so that's nice. If you had 2 waters, you would actually get one of these GPS token. And GPS token allows you to search by 3 when you're doing the scouting. So that's nice to have as well. If you had food, and it's a bowl of rice here, that would give you 2 coins, but we don't have any of those resources on the board, so that's not going to matter. Now we're going to go to secure district, and this is where you kind of look on the map. If any location had all the cubes around, like the locations around an area or district filled in with cubes, you would then take ownership of that location. So whoever has the most location takes, actually I think it's both. Everybody who's there gets to put one of their houses on. So if I had, let's say, a cube here and a cube here, these would go away, and I would get to take one of these houses and claim that district. Now, if I was doing that, whatever I free up here would give me like one of those new actions I could activate when I can do the activation action. Also, for putting this over and then getting you would count the cubes, there's 4. So 4 would give me 5 victory points. I would claim 5 victory points for that district. Now, I'm not there. I haven't quite done that yet, but that's how that would work, and that would be cool. All right, so none of us are securing a district, so we're not putting our house on it, and we're not claiming the victory points. So then you would go to refresh your hand. So you count your cards. So I have somehow 5 cards in my hand. So 0 to 4, I can refresh my hand. I haven't reached that yet, so I cannot refresh at this point. This player has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. So we cannot activate this just yet, and then that's fine. Now, one of the things that you can do, this action here will allow you to change that so that instead of 0 to 4, you can refresh your hand at 0 to 6. So that'd be cool. Now, if we were able to refresh our hands, we would look at the cards we have down here. The one that has the most cards, you would grab all of these, and these would go in your hand. So at this point, we're not doing that just yet. Okay, so that's the first round. Then this gets passed on to the next player, and you start again. So it's a very straightforward game. It's simple to play. Like I said, the icon all over the board are so well descriptive that it explains very well what we're trying to do. But it's very satisfying. So going around scouting, trying to get these tiles so that you get the benefit of it, and then get extra scout power as well, so you can kind of search by more, and then you'll be adding these up here, then getting these benefit cards so that you can conduct those over and get these extra abilities, because when you refresh your hand, you also get to activate any abilities that have been unlocked. So if these were gone, then I would get to activate this one and activate this one. At this point, these are not unlocked, so I don't get to activate it. Now, if I wasn't refreshing my hand, I don't get to do that action either. If you don't refresh your hand, you don't get that action, unless you play your leader, because your leader allows you to activate an action. But he's in the hospital, so we're not doing that just yet. So this is just a quick overview of how Blackout Hong Kong plays. As I said, we played it just a few days ago, and I owned this game for quite a while and hadn't played it. And I heard good things, that's why I bought it. And we just finally got it to the table. It was fairly simple to learn just because it's so well described all over. And it was so fun and exciting. And I lost by quite a bit. I lost by 20 points. So I was not doing very well. But it felt like I was doing pretty good, and I was enjoying the game quite a bit. So if you've tried Blackout Hong Kong, let me know what you thought of it. If you haven't had a chance to try this game yet, and the opportunity comes up, I really recommend that you do.